Oh, hello again. We're going live every day, and it's so good to be with you. Today, we're bringing a really powerful topic around trust, the trust frequency, letting go and trusting so that you can rise higher, you can elevate, you can co-create, you can collaborate, and you can even move through that resistance when you're working with this trust frequency. I'm with my, most favorite people in the world, people who are showing up and reaching out to me to be on this, like last minute, I'm coming, every day. I'm just surprised at how the more I just sit and trust, the right people come together and show up. So I invite you to test out this field frequency word and working with it. And we're going to talk about it a lot in this live stream. Also, I encourage you to trust that you're supposed to register for the summit. Activate your prosperous life. It's free to register. You can upgrade to the VIP and come in closer and get connected with us at more. But why don't you listen to us and see what you think as we talk about trust? So I'm going to talk with Imani first. She's going to tell us about herself and how trust was coming in right when you were just signing into this live stream. Hi, Kirsten.
Hi, everyone. Yes, my name is Imani. I go by Imani Inspired, and I've built a soul and art lifestyle brand. Also, I'm the founder of Organic Soul Healing Arts. And working with energy has really, truly revealed that you can trust. But what trusting is, like, sometimes we need to know before we can trust, right? With trust, we're trying to have certainty. But when you're working with energy work, right, you're working with invisible things, and you have to have this level of trust and certainty that the action you're taking is going to motivate or affect the field, as Jennifer has been saying. It's going to create some sense of change. And as a Reiki practitioner, I'm not running around healing people. I'm allowing people to open up to receive the healing, right? And so there's this, again, trust that needs to happen, especially when you are choosing this healing. And so that's what I find. Sometimes people do not trust that they can heal themselves, that, unless you have credentials, that you are the one that I need to be able to work with, right? So trust is this tricky space. But as we got on the call today, I happened to be looking through, making some space with files, and a picture file came up speaking directly about trust with all these images and why we do not trust ourselves. And healing, I found, was the most unique one on that chart. So I wanted to share that one first, right? That level of trust and knowing, without being able to see things first. And there's this beautiful quote, and it's not seeing is believing, it's believing is seeing. And so you have to trust, it starts with you. So I just want to start off by saying that.
Yeah, and you can go deeper on the second round too, because this is cool. This is really cool. Connie, tell us about you and how trusting with your body and your health is a big issue.
Yeah, definitely. So I'm Connie Pertula, the menopause navigator. So of course I look or help women or guide women through the stages of perimenopause to postmenopause. And yeah, trust, that can be a big one. I've had a lot of clients say to me, my body just keeps letting me down. And I turn that around and say, do you think you're letting your body down? Do you think you're giving your body what it needs to be able to thrive? So that can be part of it, that we stop, trusting our body. We like to blame something, right? So we'll blame our body. We won't blame our habits. But the other part is as well, too, is I get a lot of clients coming to me saying, how are you different? How can I trust you? I've been to other practitioners. They haven't been able to help me. And that's a big part of it, as a solopreneur. And I don't want to convince somebody that they need to work with me, but I have to build that trust that I'm going to work with them in a non-judgmental way, and help them get to the root cause of why they're feeling the way they're feeling. So trust has many different aspects in the work that I do.
Yeah. And there's an intuitive trust as well. So when you start tapping into yourself more, going towards the inner work to get the outer results, you start to trust yourself, learn how your body, your system, your guidance system talks to you, and how you can trust yourself more. Michelle, I'm interested to hear how trust comes up for you in your business, in your line of work.
It's such a huge topic. So my work in the world right now is embodied speaker coaching and visibility coaching. And visibility requires a lot of trust. I've noticed personally, there was always a lot of trust in my work. I trust the downloads. I trust what comes out of my mouth, even if it's not mine, even if it's literally like, I don't know why I said that, but it's coming out of me. But I notice personally where I can struggle with trust is when it's like off the wall, like when it's when it's normal, quote unquote, I've done it before, that feels comfortable. But when it's like some kind of guidance is telling me to do something that really is different from what I would normally do, that's when I get a little wobbly around it. Like, you want me to do what? Like, that's really, I can feel my body wanting to lean into it, but then I also feel that contraction. And so in my work with women, that's what I see all the time, right? Is like, I really want that. I'm expanding. I want to be more visible. And then like the collapse, the paralysis, the contraction happening in their body. And I think trust, for those of us who've experienced trauma, is a whole different ballgame, because we have to weed through, what does trust actually mean in my body? Do I even know what that feels like in my body? And so, yeah, I can go deeper and deeper and deeper, through the layers of trust, because it's such a big piece of the work that I do, and helping people find that self-trust, right? Coming back to their inner guidance.
And you're going to go deeper on the next round. We'll go through.
Yeah.
Irina, when you're trusting yourself when it comes to making money, like going out on being an entrepreneur, like jumping into being an entrepreneur from being a career person or a professional who had a paycheck, how can you trust yourself to make the money?
I love that. First of all, I just wanted to say a couple of words about what do I do in this world. Hello, my name is Irina Portnova, and I'm a manifestation star because I help people consciously manifest what they desire and bring it into their life. And I'm focusing more on coaches, healers, and creators, through teaching them how, through collaboration, they can actually expand and manifest more money, manifest more visibility, manifest more authority, and actually attract the best clients that they can. And when we talk about how do we trust money, I love to teach, when I teach my clients, it's all starting collecting the evidence, because our monkey mind is trained that we focus on something that doesn't work. And sometimes we are so involved in doing something, and then we have that expectations that something has to turn out a certain way. And I say, when we are doing this kind of work, there is no expectation, there is just curiosity. So I invite everybody to stay curious, ask the question, and be focused on the process, because the outcome is definitely going to be there, right? And I teach my clients to start collecting evidence, whether this is, the booking the call, connecting with the client, enrolling somebody, sharing, the gifts with somebody, right? The more we start collecting that evidence, remember the way our mind works, what we are focusing on is going to expand. So a lot of times, if we are focusing on what did not work, we are going to attract more of things that do not work. But once we change our focus to, okay, let me see what I've been having the wins, right? That's why I love to celebrate all the time. What is the win for today, right? What are we celebrating? the more we connect with that energy, the more we start seeing how the universe brings more of these experiences for us to manifest. And money is just the energy. And a lot of people just cannot connect the dots, and they might trust to manifest something other than money, but when it comes to money there is a lot of resistance. And I say money to manifest, like, start with something simple. Manifest that parking spot, right? Once you have that parking spot for yourself, then it's easy to believe, and then you just add on that belief, and that's exactly how you trust more the process.
Yes, exactly. Lauren, how can we trust that we can deserve self-care? And tell us a little bit how you work with people with self-care.
Yeah, beautiful. Such an interesting way of saying it, because that's definitely been something that I've moved through myself, is like, how do I walk that path, and how do I feel worthy or deserving of self-care, slowing down. I can get very ambitious. I can get very like linear about the things that I'm creating. And the biggest shift for me has been to trust the universe that no matter what I'm putting out, as long as I take care of me, my energy, and my baseline for both safety and trust, then things do have a way of manifesting or being created themselves. I'm a Virgo. I tease myself. I have 5 planets in Virgo, so I've got a stellium. I love order. I love certainty in a lot of ways. I see Imani shaking her head, nodding. Fellow Virgo, maybe. But I like a lot of, and control isn't the right word, but I've been pointed out that it might be control, but it's a very like, I like steadiness and I like certainty. And everything's shifted for me this past year. I've really had to step back from what I'm creating, look at why I'm creating it, and then trust that my idea is out in the universe, and let go of the idea that I had to be the one to achieve it or make it happen. The opportunities started to show up. The people started to show up. I had a beautiful experience this last weekend where I'm the co-founder of Key Retreat Box. It's one of my creations. And the most recent retreat, we offer at-home retreat experiences, immersions, and then send you a cool little box. Jennifer's tried it. And the audio this month was trust. And no matter how much I've done this work and how much I've been in the healing arts for over 20 years, like you can always go deeper with yourself in this. And I didn't create this part. My co-founder did, and he's the voice of it. And it was the reflection I'm having is it was so profound, because the experience that we walked through was all about how can you trust when nothing is certain. And for me, that was a shift, because my brain, Virgo, loves certainty. And so it actually became like a really like powerful transformation with just like one retreat, one journaling session that we did in this immersion. It was really powerful. And I think that as soul care, we need practices that tap us back into what's actually going on the inside, because we're so outer focused. We need that inner work time. It's not work, just to reflect and see where we're at with life.
Yeah. And this Key Retreat Box is available in the VIP only if you come into the VIP. And it's so worth it. It's so worth it. And it's a very high value gift. Like, you're going to get a box shipped to you. Wow. Yeah.
If you're in the VIP, you get a full box for free. So
yeah. Kirsten, tell us about trust, and tell us about your work with Regenerative Earth Studio and leadership mentoring.
Yeah. Well, Lauren, I'm not a Virgo, but I'm a recovering German, so I know what you're talking about. Yeah, my name is Kirsten Liegman, and I'm the CEO of the Regenerative Studio. And, trust is such a big topic for our clients. So we work with conscious entrepreneurs, social entrepreneurs, people who want to create a new way of living on Earth. So regenerative world, harmonious, more beautiful. We automatically live on the edge of, or on the frontier, as my talk was, on the frontier of change. Talk about uncertainty, the unknown, and needing to practice trust. And, I have this picture in my bedroom. And it's this beautiful picture of this young woman who is literally she's at the edge of a cliff and has just jumped off. And she's in this full ecstatic, like, I am in trust, right? And I have had that picture up there for a long time because I know that is something that is my edge. And then I went and I was at Hummingbird, which is a community, and somebody took us up to a cliff, harnessed us, and then asked us to trust and lean over the edge.
Wow.
And this was a few years ago, and I could not do it. I could not let go of that moment where my legs were no longer going to hold me, but rather the harness. And so it's been a real practice for me to practice leaning over the edge and trusting that I will be supported. And this is what we train our entrepreneurs in, not just in the business acumen, not just in the inner work, but that leadership work of like, yeah, you are held. So for instance, when we do pitch practice with them, we train them on how to put a perfect pitch together, with all the different pieces that you need. And then we do presentation work. And, they want to know exactly what they're going to say. They have their outline and say, okay, set it aside. You know what you need to say. Now let it come through. You have the banks of the river now, and now trust. And when I did that for myself as a public speaker, when I allowed myself to have the structure, I know where I want to go, but then open it up and just allow the flow to come through, it made all the difference in the world. And that is such a key skill, to trust that you are connected here. But that takes the inner work, which we've been talking about a lot on these live streams, right? How do you come into calm centeredness? How do you stabilize that inner work, which is everything that we do in our work with our entrepreneurs?
Yeah. And all of us here do that work. The inner work and the outer work are the same work. Yeah. You have to do both at the same time.
Yep.
Like I always say, your life, when you're an entrepreneur, your personal life is your business life. Like there is no distinction. And I'm an accountant. I looked at everyone's books and I saw your personal lives running through your books. So you proved to me that this is how it works. I like what you're saying. Indiana Jones was coming to me, the Last Crusade, when he steps out and he has to trust that there is a bridge there to take him to the Holy Grail and everything to save his father.
Yep. I use that in some of my speeches, that exact thing.
And it's a big shamanic practice that the edges are extremely powerful. So you've seen me do this before, edges of expansion. So when you're expanding, this summit is expanding me. And it's expanding everyone in the summit. The speakers, the participants, the tech guy, everybody watching the live streams, everybody who comes in deeper into the VIP gets to expand. And it's not just a one-day expansion here. This is a process that I have been architecting and engineering intentionally, but also like letting go of flow. Like I'm just in the present moment of every step and I have to stay open. Every one of us is not using a script here. Like we are just taking a topic and going with it. And we can prepare, but we have to let go, like Kirsten was saying. And so when you're asking the universe to help you, and then it gives you a buffet of options to I want more abundance and prosperity in my life. Then there's an abundance of options show up. It's just being able to see and then trust that you can press any one of those buttons. And you have to take a little bit of risk when you're an entrepreneur as well. You have to learn how to risk. Anyway, we'll go around again. Imani, your talk, the divine ecosystem, activate your divine abundance ecosystem. How are you expanding, the trust in the divine ecosystem? You're muted.
Yeah, I love what Kirsten was saying about leaning on the edge physically. I am not ready to do that. However, what I've realized about trust and says it's the trust frequency, it is a frequency. And I think sometimes we get confused that I have to have evidence that I can trust what's outside of me. The trust is coming from within you. And if you are aligned, right, with the source, I mean, that is the optimal place to place your trust. So we're trusting in something higher than us. And that's a power that is omnipotent, right? So if I can recognize, it's not that I have to trust this person in the relationship. It's not that I have to trust this framework that I'm creating or the outcome. And that's another part, being detached from the outcome and just allowing what is to be and accepting what is and just navigating and recalibrating as required. So who do you really need to trust? Right? Everything outside of you or everything inside of you that's connected to the source. So just passing that, that's part of what this framework is. It's really not responding to everything outside of you, but fully anchoring in and creating that foundation within, which requires, so when you're in trust frequency, it's not the circumstances outside of you that you need to trust. It's what's going on inside of you and trusting that connection that you have with this ultimate creation power, God, source, however you like to define it. And if you do not define it, like my best friend is an atheist. She's living her best life because she's still acting on a sense of trust, even if she doesn't name it. So it has to be within. It has to be within. That's all I got to say about that.
You got it. You got it. Connie, the power of menopause. So, how is the body might start communicating to you in ways like with rashes or reactions and that kind of stuff. How can you trust that the body is communicating to you and needs your attention instead of just ignoring it and going to the doctor and asking them how it went? What's going on with me?
The one thing, the one thing that I've learned through this whole process is, and when I mean process, my process to get to where I am, from leaving the corporate world to, becoming a certified nutritionist, is the body is whole. We're not just parts. We're not just a heart. We're not just a stomach. We're not just a liver. Everything works together synergistically. And when we focus on one thing, so for example, I've got a rash, go to the doctor. Doctor gives you some cream, the rash goes away. Then the rash might come back. Unless you're getting to the root cause of what the issue is. And I mean, that's applicable in everything in life, right? Unless we get to the root cause of what the issue is, it's going to keep coming up. It's going to keep reappearing. And, I liked what you said before too, as well, is if we focus on just one thing, we're not focusing on the whole aspect. And I learned that when I did my bodybuilding competition. I was so focused on, building this body to present on stage. I was ignoring everything that was going on inside of my body. And my body was giving me plenty of signs. And, it wasn't until I stepped on stage and did my competition, then I started to pay attention to my body, and my body spoke very, very loudly to me, to the fact that, I was so sick that I ended up leaving the corporate world because I just didn't want to deal with the stress, the travel, all those types of things. So we can't look at one thing and think that that's going to make the fix. And that's why I'm so passionate about, when I work with my clients, is getting to the root cause of what's going on, rather than just looking at the surface. Oh, you've got digestive issues. Well, let's get you some digestive enzymes. Well, that's not going to help if the client isn't eating properly. Like we discovered with you, Jennifer, right? What foods were causing the issues that were going on with you. And once we did that, then your overall health and energy and everything just started to improve exponentially. So
Yeah. It was funny. Yeah, I'm building a newsletter and I was looking for some old content around resistance. And I'm actually wearing this sweater in one of my old videos, and my face is totally blown up because I'm allergic to almonds and nuts. And my body, because I'm in perimenopause, was now being reacting to anything that said may contain nuts. And I didn't know this. And so it was like, whew, my face was just exploding. And it was distraught, and that's when you need, like I had to wait till it was like blown up and I'm on camera, right? To go find, connect with somebody to help me. But sometimes we have to wait, your body collapsed to get you into this next phase of your life too. So these things are catalysts for us to start working with the people who are really going to take us to the next level. Michelle, tell us about your talk. I don't have your talk in front of me, but it's about, are you listening to your body? Like, cool, something like that.
Yes, it's, are you ready for your next level? Cool. Is your body on board?
Yeah.
Why women stall at the edge of visibility. So yeah, there's this interesting thing. So I use brain spotting in my practice. And one of the things that we look at is like, we've got the activation, right? The things that distress us, our triggers, whatever it might be. But then we've got expansion, right? And expansion is like, I want more of this. I want to feel more of this. I want to remember this. I want to come back to this version of me, right? And tap back in or whatever it might be. But our brain is designed for survival. So we have to practice expansion. We have to practice trust and register it. I think it was Imani, like we have to notice it, write it down, like that just happened. I slowed down enough to listen, and guess what? And what I love is one of the things that brain spotting really taught me was how to get out of the way and 100% trust the brain and body in front of me. That nothing that is happening in front of me is resistance. Resistance to me is a bullshit word. It's actually a nervous system response to perceived threat. It's a strategy that we learned to protect ourselves, our brain, our psyche, our body, whatever it might be. And so when we let go of like this term, the trust in ourselves naturally comes forward, right? And I loved that frame, that reframing. It completely changed the way that I worked with other people and completely changed the way that I worked with myself around, like, I trust that what's happening right now has a reason. Now the question is, does that reason still work for where I want to be today, who I want to be today, what my goals are? And if not, what can I do to remind myself of what trust or expansion or joy or whatever it is actually feels like in my body, so I can recalibrate to that.
I love it. I love it. And we've got some comments in here. I'm ready. And sometimes I'm my own worst enemy, but I'm ready, but I'm disabled even. Like the body isn't working the way you think it should be working. But I want to try anyway, you're saying, CJ. And I just want to say, that's amazing. That's amazing that's what thank you for tuning in and putting that comment in. And we're going to go back to where you're posting and connect with you as well. Arena, tell us about Manifest Cash on Demand, your talk, and trusting.
Mhm. I love that. First of all, money is energy, right? And why so many people put a lot of shame around money? I love money. And I talk about it like, like I love money because I love what money can give me, right? We do not love money for money, but for the experiences that we can have, because I love the luxury. And this is who I am at my essence. And I'm not ashamed to say that, right? And I also love how the money can benefit others, right? Because a lot of times when I talk to people and they say, oh, but I am good, I do not need more money. And I say, this is too selfish, because right now you are just talking about yourself. I say, imagine how much you could have contributed to whatever causes mean to you. And that's why we want to manifest more money in our life. So there is nothing to be ashamed of. And again, that money energy can feel our resistance, right? When we are just, like not very comfortable around it, we do not have the results that we desire. And I help people to do that, right? Again, how can we manifest money? And like I said, I have a special process that I take people through in order to manifest the money. And it really works like a magic. It takes trust. And with my guidance, people do manifest money. Again, it's not about how, it's about why you want it, what you want it, and be very specific. And everyone is manifesting money with me. So that's what I wanted to share a little bit. And again, just trust the process, right? Even we do not know the outcome, what exactly, because we can set one goal, money goal, but we can arrive to completely different result. And I always say, shoot for the moon and land on the star. This is the way I like to teach people.
Nice, nice. Lauren, I'll mention it at the end. Something was coming to me. Lauren, sustainable soul care for conscious leaders. So what about luxury and trusting that a luxurious experience will amplify prosperity?
Absolutely. I think it's the word itself can be defined by yourself. It means different things to different people. I think the biggest connection would be to what does luxury mean in the form of how you serve yourself, how you take care of yourself. A luxurious experience doesn't have to cost a lot of money. You can go and spend a weekend at, a 5-star hotel and give yourself the full like spa treatment, but you can do that at home too. Do things that give you pleasure in life. Do things that bring you back to, again, nurturing your inner garden. When you feel that, luxury becomes then is more of a way of life than any materialistic thing. And if you want the materialistic part of that, then you can do that too. There's no, it's finding what's right for you. For me, one of the most luxurious things became taking time for myself. I don't do my nails. I don't do pedicures very often. I color my own hair. I got it cut one time the last year because I was growing it out. Like to me, it's not the typical self-care for me. It was like cutting out the time. Like I can take a bath this day. I can carve out 2 hours once a month to do a retreat. I can make sure that I'm getting enough sleep. That's luxurious for me so that I can show up better for my retreat planning clients. On the other side of my business. So for me, the life of luxury is being in a state of relaxation and ease. And then that helps me to create my baseline where I've been able to allow more, have more capacity. And then the prosperity naturally starts to come because you're in a place where you can handle it. You can manage it properly and you're not giving out energy. You're just resonating in this frequency of self-care and luxury and what that luxury means to you.
Yeah. And my physical body was feeling tired because of all the energy and effort and sitting at my desk working the summit and I'm loving it. But my physical body was really craving support on Saturday morning. And I went for a 90-minute, head to toe body massage and feet and hands and everything. And I'm going to just marry this to trust as well. I trusted that my body was telling me I needed that. So I followed the instructions and it told me where to go. And then as I was driving there, I could have made a lunch arrangement with one of my friends, another speaker in the summit who's here in town. And I was told not to. It's like, no, you have to go by yourself. You need to go by yourself. At the massage place, I was radiating such a high frequency after my massage. A woman asked me what I was doing and we connected on Instagram. I told her about the summit. Then I went to lunch to the place that was telling me to go to, Yuli's. And I sat down outside in the sun at the patio table by myself. And then there was a woman who sat behind me and she was by herself as well. And I immediately turned around and said, do you want to have lunch together? And she said, yes. And then we made this great connection. And if I would have been with my friend, I wouldn't have made that other connection. And I just had to trust that I was being guided along the way. And it's taken a lot of practice to just trust that the intuition that you're hearing and that you're listening to is telling you where to go. Kirsten, when you're on the edge, you're thriving at the frontier of the edge. How do you keep trusting when you're that leap is there? Like, maybe go deeper into what you were talking before.
Yeah. I've been sitting here really feeling into this notion of trust and how it really functions in the physical, right? And there's the level of trust that is the all is well trust. For us, it's principle number one. Everything is better than you could ever imagine, no matter the evidence, right? There's that sort of overarching connection with the universe, connection with the divine trust that is there. But then we take it into the world in time and in physicality. Trust does not operate in a vacuum, right? There's got to be, for one, a dance with the universe, a dance with the divine, a back and forth. And that's what you were just talking about, Jennifer, right? You were listening to what was coming through. You were open channeled and things were coming through, right? That is a dance with the universe. But then there's also this notion that I talk about, which is the balance between structure and flow being trust, right? But there's got to be some structure there. And that's what we teach our regenerative entrepreneurs. And, the freebie that you'll get when you hear my talk is about 4 capabilities that we believe regenerative entrepreneurs need to develop in order to thrive at the edge, not compromise their values, not do it with stress and overwhelm and, the burden of the weight of the world. Oh my God, so many of people in my world, they feel like they have to fix the world, right? And so what are those 4 core capabilities that they need to develop in order to be able to have a successful, prosperous business, right? One that doesn't cause guilt because you're prosperous, right? And you do it with your values intact and with the next level, the next caliber of entrepreneurship that is going to help design this new world that we want to live in, the more regenerative, more harmonious, more peaceful world, right? Those are the structures. Those are the banks of the river. And then the flow gets to go through that. And that's when the magic happens. That's when the strategy unfolds. You hear, go this way, talk to this person, all of that. You've got to have the banks of the river. Otherwise, the water just kind of flows out and becomes a marsh. We don't want that, right? We want the banks of the river. And that's what we teach our entrepreneurs, but we also teach that flow state. And when that comes together, oh my God, those are the entrepreneurs of the future we want to create, represented right here, right now.
That's awesome, Kirsten. And there's some, CJ is talking in the comments here saying, and let's just use this opportunity to reply to her and help her through this right now. Is like, I'm afraid of money. I want money, but I'm on a pension. And so if I earn more money, then that safety net disappears because, the tax system, the government system, they like to keep you kind of stuck. So if you shoot for the stars and go after your dream and make more money, you're going to lose a safety net. So this can be a very real thing that lots of people are struggling with. So I'm so happy you brought this up. Somebody tell them what you think.
Can I?
Yes.
Share? Yes. First of all, I just wanted to say thanks, CJ, for sharing. This is super, super cool that, being vulnerable. This is like, I totally celebrate you for that. When we talk about money, right? What if you are going to generate so much money that you do not even care for your disability, right? And all it takes is just bring yourself on that level of thinking, because everything starts from our head. What we are thinking, we are going to create, right? So now that level of thought, okay, what if I have abundance of money? What would I do with that, right? And stay on that frequency and start actually exploring what do you want to do with that money, right? Again, we are a lot of times in the fear, and fear is constricting us. Fear is like our cage that does not allow us to move away. And that is the common hour thinking, because again, the circumstances are always going to be there. And we are preaching not because we do not have the circumstances, each of us does, because that's the human life, right? But we do not allow these circumstances to define who we are and what is capable for us. So my invitation to you, you can tap into the abundance of money so you wouldn't care at all for your disability pension.
I want to say that that's exactly what I had to do. I had to say, I'm not going to depend on this income. I'm going to allow myself to receive whatever is required. But not only that, sometimes we limit ourselves to think it's money that's going to be the thing we need. Like, wealth is a frequency as well. That doesn't necessarily mean money is going to enhance what you have or what your requirements are. Like, is it really money you want more of, or is it something else or that the money would bring, right? And so as I've shared in one of the last talks, I've received trips, and I received money in unexpected ways that aren't through my business. So, and that happens every single week. It's kind of crazy. Like, when I started to believing this, I'm like, what? Like, literally, I think one day extra $900 unexpected came from two different people for different reasons. And these were gifts. This wasn't, work I did to earn income, and therefore it affects whatever, with disabilities or whatever else I'm entitled to, right? So beyond expanding and trusting that I don't even need this pension, I'm making so much money that who cares if the pension is affected, right? Then or the disability is affected. The other thing is, my life feels so abundant, and it isn't because, even though I have $200 in my bank account, my life feels luxurious, even though I have $10 in my bank account, right? So it may not even be money. Wealth is an abundance that includes money. It's an abundance frequency that includes money and other elements. So expand what you truly believe you need, and you can get there quicker too. You can get there just as quick. Yeah.
Love that. Kirsten?
Yeah, I wanted to, CJ, thank you for that question. This is so fun to have you interact with us in this way. And really what popped in for me is it begins with self-trust. We talk about trust as this general concept, but really it's about self-trust. And this goes back to a lot of the other live streams. I don't know if you've been listening to them, but we've talked a lot about how to overcome resistance, how to observe what is actually going on, and looking at what is the fear, right? And the fear, and the reason I can speak to this is because in the past I struggled a lot with that. Like, I don't know if I let go of this perceived safety net, I am going to be able to take care of myself enough to supplant what I was letting go of. And the big aha came when I had my multi-million-dollar business, but I was miserable, and I shared that. I went into the desert for 3 days and got quiet, and that experience, and woke up with a dream basically telling me what to do, which is walk away from everything. Talk about walking away from a safety net. But the key was not just the message that I got in that dream. The key was that everything in my inner world changed. The fear was gone, the fretting was gone, the doubt was gone, the what will happen to me was gone. It was like that 3 days of silence completely erased the inner resistance piece and the fear. And all of a sudden the path opened up, and it's like, oh, this is where I go, right? When all these emotions were shrouding where I was supposed to go. And so it is about that inner work. It's stabilizing that inner field, cleaning it up so that you can see, oh, this is going to be maybe not easy, but really clear. And I trust that it will unfold better than you could ever imagine.
Exactly. I also want to just say is like, this is what working with people like us helps you with. So I left a 6-figure career May 1st, 2023 as a CPA accountant. And, you know, I was at the top. I wasn't there. I could have left firms and gone bigger, but I know that I can make millions if I step out on my own. But I would never be able to do that if I stayed in that position. I wouldn't be the author. I wouldn't be able to run this summit. I wouldn't be doing things that I don't even know where they're going because they're better than I can imagine at this time, because I'm creating it right now. But I had to make those significant jumping off the cliff decisions, but I did not do them alone. I've had multiple mentors and coaches help me move through these big transitions in my life. And that is what you will receive when you come into the VIP. You're going to get to know us even better. You're going to get to know who you really resonate with. And you're going to get free, beautiful, luxurious gifts that will really support you in getting quiet, tuning into this inner wisdom that's inside of you, because it's a technology that you're born with. And we have forgotten as a collective that it exists. Some of us, like us, have been working on it for years to like reclaim it. And now we are doing this on the, you know, we're live streaming and influencing the collective. And we don't know what this is going to bring into the world, but it is doing something. And I'm so grateful for you to be participating with us. We're back on live tomorrow at 8 a.m. Pacific, 11 Eastern. And so in all of these streams, there is a link where you can register for Activate Your Prosperous Life Summit. So that is a button that's going to say yes to the universe that I want to activate my prosperous life. Then you can take the next level and activate your VIP, very in tune person life, by pressing the next button. And it's $67 Canadian right now. And you get so much value. There's thousands and thousands of dollars worth of value in VIP gifts and coaching and private intimate experiences with us. So,
and can I just add
yes.
to VIP?
Yes.
What's the beauty of it? I'm also owning a VIP, so I can't wait to collect everybody's VIP gifts because I'm like looking forward for it. But what I wanted to add to what you, Jennifer, was sharing about VIP. First of all, we have these VIP rooms, right? Prosperity rooms that you created where you join these collective with like-minded people, because maybe the people that you are right now with, surrounded with, right? Your friends, your family, they do not really understand what this is all about. So it's great to come with the space of like-minded people who want more out of life, even though sometimes they do not know how to make it happen. That's why you have these prosperity rooms, because you come and you just plug yourself into this beautiful collective energy where you start creating something amazing. And then these interviews is not something that you watch once. Because remember how our mind works? We are just kind of having that selective memory. Even if you are reading the book, next time you reread it and you're like, wait a second, I don't remember reading it the first time, or watching the movie, right? So that's the same thing. You will have that access for lifetime to these interviews. So you can go back to as many as you want to. And trust me, each time the information is going to land differently. So these VIP rooms are really, really a lot of value. And for anybody who's listening right now, this is the message for you. This is not a coincidence. So just go and click to register and also apply for the VIP.
Yeah. All right. We'll see you tomorrow, and we'll have a brand new topic around prosperity. See you then.
Bye, everybody.